When you start to lose your temper, remember, there's nothing manly about rage. It's courtesy and kindness that define a human being, and a man. That's who possesses strength and nerves and guts, not the angry whiners. Pain is the opposite of strength, and so is anger. Both are things we suffer from and yield to. What Marcus Aurelius would make of the modern world is difficult to say, but after reading Meditations, I think he would have plenty of thoughts about the leaders of Earth's most powerful nations. While we'll never truly know who he wrote Meditations for, I believe it was intended for those in positions of power, including himself. Before I continue, though, a disclaimer. I am not a man, nor am I in a position of power. I recognize that my perspective is one amongst billions, and so is my internal logic and reasoning. It is by nature going to be different from yours. I'm making this video because I learned a lot from Marcus's book, and it's helped me process the negative feelings I've been having lately about life in our modern world. All this to say, feel free to take what serves you and leave what doesn't. Despite his advice primarily being for heads of state, much of it can be applied to everyday people. Meditations contains words of wisdom about how to conduct oneself, how to reconcile with things outside our control, and how to best follow our nature. Marcus Aurelius writes many times that performing civic duties, actions for the welfare of fellow men and the community, is how we can best follow that nature. The way we do it on an individual basis will be different, but the point is to do it. Not only that, but to not expect anything in return, not money, fame, or adulation, because ultimately, none of it matters. The only thing that does is the peace you maintain in your own mind. What you do, what you say, and how you say it are the only things that can disrupt that tranquility. So when you bestow kindness onto others, you bestow kindness onto yourself. And likewise, when you do harm unto others, you do harm unto yourself. The human soul degrades itself when it turns its back on another person or sets out to do it harm, as the souls of the angry do. No external force has that same power, according to Marcus. Granted, I think that was easy for him to say when he ruled the most formidable empire on the planet. There was no external force greater than his own, but I think that's exactly why he reiterated that same idea throughout his writings. If it cannot touch you, why let it bother you? As everyday students of philosophy, there is something to be gained in grasping the concept that we are the masters of our own minds. Only we can touch it, so we must cultivate it with tenderness and patience. And it's done through treating others with this same consideration, even those who don't return it in kind or don't deserve it. Marcus himself says, "Take care that you don't treat inhumanity as it treats human beings." Today, I feel as though I'm witnessing more inhumanity than ever in my life. I feel a rising anger, which follows only an ever-increasing sense of uselessness, like I can do nothing in the face of this great wave about to crash upon me. And I think it's fair to say that many people are feeling a similar way, perhaps for other reasons or maybe for the same. Regardless, it's the anger and rage that feel all-consuming. I think it's really hard to look at what's happening across the country and the world and not see red. How am I supposed to be kind when so much hostility exists around me? What empathy can I spare when it feels like no one will spare any for me or anyone else? What can I look towards? Where can I go for some sense of relief? Turn inward, Marcus tells us. If you need an escape, take a brief trip to your innermost self. Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. When you're the witness to times of hardship and despair, you want someone who's patient and understanding to see you through the storm, which is why being kind, courteous, thoughtful, and logical are qualities that he held in such high regard. If you practice these traits, that's the kind of person you'll find when you look within. That is the person who will weather the storm. What I'm about to say next might come across as a provocative comment, but I feel compelled as it's relevant to what I'm talking about. I genuinely believe that Marcus Aurelius would take issue with the modern term toxic masculinity, the traits that are most often associated with it: aggression, dominance, violence, have nothing to do with masculinity, reveling in the feelings of rage and anger. To allow them to dictate one's words and actions isn't a sign of masculinity. It is a sign of a person out of control. And based on Marcus's own words, the men who perpetuate those qualities aren't strong men at all. They are the means of escape for weak people. Right now, the individuals in charge of the world's most powerful nations are idolizing and glorifying these very same damaging qualities, and I feel confident that Marcus would take greater issue with that kind of leadership. And what are we, the citizens of those nations, left with when we look for an authority to guide us? Not a mind that is patient, calm, or at peace, but rather one that is impulsive, anguished, and constantly at war with itself and by extension everyone else. How on earth can that be to the welfare of the community? Using authority to influence others so they behave contrary to their nature, because they're afraid, angry, greedy, because they lack control in their own lives? It's no matter. If the captain of a ship makes small of his actions and his crew, regardless of the reason, what hope is there for anyone to survive the inevitable storm? But Marcus Aurelius isn't asking those questions. I am. And I'm not talking to any of those leaders. I am one person, speaking into the void of the internet and time itself, knowing I won't get any answers that will alleviate my frustration and anger. So what am I to do when my position of powerlessness leaves me with nothing but my own tumultuous thoughts? Through meditations, Marcus responds to my question with one of his own. Does what's happened keep you from acting with justice, generosity, self-control, sanity, prudence, honesty, humility, straightforwardness, and all the other qualities that allow a person's nature to fulfill itself? No, I answer back. It doesn't. That is why no external force has power over you. The qualities Marcus upheld are always there to practice, no matter what's occurring in the world or whatever pain is inflicted by another. True strength is controlling our worst impulses and treating ourselves and those around us with kindness and justice. And through that strength, we can weather any storm. Reading that message from someone who lived so long ago gave me a lot of comfort, a sense of empowerment, and a feeling of inner peace. Whatever Marcus Aurelius would make of the present day, we can never know for sure. Even so, I'm grateful to him for the timeless guidance that he offered unknowingly to me and countless others during this modern era of instability and uncertainty, to help me understand that each one of us has everything we need to endure, help our fellow man, and move collectively towards a better future, one act of kindness at a time. For we carry our fate with us, and it carries us.